In this video, I want to take a look at what actually happens when we invoke a function that is a method in a class. So the one we're going to look at is going to be the times function, or the times method of the fraction class. We are calling it from here, and we have a value of 1/2 for a. D is also, let's make D a new fraction that has a different value. Let's make it 3/4. So we got all different numbers for our two numerators and two denominators. So I want to take A, which is 1/2, times D, which is 3/4. I want to put the answer in C. Okay. So when we get to our fraction class over here and we invoke this function, A is going to be this. You know what? We're going to change the names back over here too. So I don't want the same names as I've got for my numerator and denominator. So let's make a new fraction here right before we get there. And then I'm going to take X times D, 1/2 times 3/4, but I won't have two things called A over there. So when I get over here, the invoking fraction is X, and this will refer to the numerator and denominator of X, and other will be D. So X is the invoking fraction, D is the parameter, and we're going to create a result here. So I want to go through what actually happens when you do that. So we're going to flip over here to our drawing area, and in our main program we have a variable called X. We have a variable called X, and it is an object. All objects look like this. They have room for a pointer to the actual object itself. So X refers to fraction that has an A with a value of 1 and B with a value of 2. And then our D is the other one that we're passing in. That is also a fraction object. So we have a pointer, or sometimes it's called a reference, to the object D, and it has a numerator which is 3, and it has a denominator which is 4. Okay, and then I call the times function, and when I call the times function, this is referring to this, and other is a stand-in for this. So we'll have pointers back to those. Then, while I'm in the function, I'm going to create a new fraction called result. I'll allocate memory for it. Kind of drew my picture a little too close here. But so it's going to look like that. And it's going to have room for a numerator. It's going to have room for a denominator. At the beginning, I think I just put the defaults in, so we're going to get a 0 and a 1 here for the numerator and denominator. And then when I start actually executing, let's flip over to our Visual Studio here. So I have just created a new fraction here, and what I want to do is I want to take the result and have it be the numerator of this multiplied by the numerator of other and put it in the numerator for result. So now let's flip back over here. So I want to take the numerator for this, which is 1. I want to take the numerator for other, which is 3, and I want to multiply them together. And I want to go in here and erase that, and I want to put in a 3. 1 times 3. Okay, so these two get multiplied together. The third statement in the function says take this dot b, which is the 2, multiply it by other dot b, which is the 4, and take the answer and we'll put it in here. and it's going to be 8. And then what gets returned? Back in my main program, I've also got, so this is, let me draw kind of a little line here. So this stuff is, erase that. What in the function? Result is visible in the function. This and other are pointers back to these two. And back in the main program again, I've got, need a pen here. I've got a variable called C, I think is where I was putting the result. And so what gets returned is this. Well, what's this? Well, it's the pointer to this data. Okay. Now, at the time that the function ends, this goes away, and this goes away, and this will also go away, but before it does, we pass back the address. We pass back this pointer. So C now points at this. So this is gone. You know, all of the stuff that was local to my function is gone, but it does pass back a pointer, and this memory was allocated for the result, and we put the correct values in it, and then we passed back that value and the pointer value, and it got put in C, and now C points that area of memory, and result no longer exists. Result is actually this, that little small square box that was there. But the memory that was allocated for it still remains. So that is what actually is going on when you invoke the times function in our fraction class.